Real talk,
real solutions with Pam
and Shay. Let's spill this tea. Okay, guys, today we are going to talk about She Stayed Too Long. And guess who stayed too long? Tina Campbell from Mary. Yes, we're going to get into that today, guys, because that story needs to be talked about.
It needs to be told.
It needs to be talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to start off by just giving y'all just a little bit of the backstory on it.
Okay, girl.
Okay, so, according to Tina, she says that her friend had been following the information for 6 months to ensure it was true before telling her. The friend was concerned because Tina was expressing her desire to quit the tour or quit, doing the Mary thing for a while. And she wanted to become a stay-home mom or stay-home wife. So the friend decided to go ahead and warn her before she made that big decision. Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. So initially she confronted the husband, Teddy. She confronted him over the phone while he was traveling, but he denied everything.
Yeah. Okay.
So the moment of truth was on Super Bowl of 2013, where she confronted him again at home. She specifically asked him, was he having an affair with the woman who worked for them, which was actually the kid's godmother. Okay?
She was a babysitter, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, she would watch the kids, but she was also their godmother.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And although Teddy, admitted to countless affairs with many of women over a 9-year period, he never officially, like at that time, I think he never really officially admitted to her. So she called her. She called the girl on the phone when Teddy denied it. So then, let's see here. So she had him call the woman on the phone. Right. So she took the phone from him because I guess he was kind of beating around the bush. So she took the phone from him and asked her, had they had an affair? Had they been seeing each other?
Right.
The woman just hung up the phone. She just hung up the phone. Quick. And that's how she basically knew that it was true. So that's when, it all came out. Yeah. About the 9 years and all that stuff came out. So that's how this all got started. And if you watch Mary, it showed it on the show, a lot of it on the show.
They did.
Or whatever from back then. Mm-hmm. Or whatever if you watched the show. Mm-hmm. So today we just want to kind of get into all of that. We just want to kind of touch into the whole situation and just give our opinion on it. Just strictly our opinion on it. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Mm-hmm. So we just want to kind of give our opinion on the situation because it's a sad situation how things went.
It's a very sad situation.
So fast forward to today. Well, not today. Well, fast forward to down the line. Mm-hmm. They had went on a show called Dear Future Wifey. It's a podcast. And they were talking about on there how it took them like a year to get their marriage back right. And he was saying how naming all this stuff he just loved about her. Oh, wow. And she was saying that he had said all these things that he said he was going to do for her. He did. And she was just in heavenly bliss. And they were just on there just ranting and raving about how happy they were. Only for a year later for him to file for separation.
Ain't that something?
So then they were separated for 2 years.
Right.
And then he turns around and files for divorce and then wants spousal support. So it's just, I guess for me, it's just like, how were y'all separated 2 years and you let this man file for divorce before you? Play in your face like that. And now he's asking for spousal support. And in the state of California, it's whoever files first has the upper hand.
Right.
So she didn't let him get the upper hand on her. Mm-hmm. So I guess for me, I'm just trying to get an understanding of how all of this came about. I mean, what are some of your thoughts about all of this?
Well, actually, I do feel bad for Tina. I really do. And I look at her background as being a gospel singer, somebody who I'm sure was brought up in the church, and she has that religious background. And then I know, because I also too have a religious background, and I know it gets a little scary. You being married and you trying to keep up with the word and trying to do all the right things.
But what does the Bible say?
The Bible says if a man cheats on you, you can divorce him.
And he's definitely a man that was cheating on her.
He was cheating on her.
He definitely is a man that was cheating on her. So she definitely had every biblical right.
That's right.
To divorce him.
That's right.
Yes.
And I guess that's where I get caught up at. Because I'm trying to figure out, why did you stay so long with all of that going on? Because he never stopped cheating.
Never. And even when it came out, it didn't come out that he had just cheated that one time.
No.
It came out that he had already been cheating like 9 years before that, or for 9 years, something with 9. What we do know is it was more than once when it came out. It wasn't no one time, it wasn't no 2 times. It was definitely multiple times that he had been cheating when it came out.
And see, even social media said it was so many that when they asked her how many women it was, she wouldn't even say. It was goodles and oodles of women. But see, here's the thing for me. Teddy, right? That's his name. Right?
Yeah, the husband's name is Teddy.
He had a gospel background too.
Definitely, yeah. Because they met because he was a drummer or something at was it a church, or I know he was a drummer, and that's how they met.
It was at an event. It was a church event. And then they also talk about in the beginning they were having sex. Remember?
Yes.
And that was the part that she's saying why he was cheating, because they entered the relationship wrong.
See, now that is a woman making excuses. That is a woman trying to make wrong be right. That is a woman trying to make wrong be right, because we know that technically you're supposed to wait to marriage. But there's a lot of relationships out here where people have definitely had sex before marriage and then got married and they're still married and they're not dealing with their husband cheating on them time after time after time after time after time, if even at all.
Right.
So we're not going to make it like he's cheating because y'all had sex before marriage.
Really?
We got to get, it's like at some point, you got to get to the real root of the problem. You got to get to what the real issue is and stop making excuses for that man. Because that is the problem. A lot of times in these relationships, we make excuses for these men to make it okay for us to stay. To make it okay for us to keep just sticking in there and staying around. And we making excuses to try to make ourselves feel better about why we staying, when it's not okay, because all you're doing is telling him that it's okay to cheat on me. It's okay to not love me enough to be faithful to me. It's okay to just play in my face and do whatever you want to do to me.
That's right.
Because I'm not going nowhere.
That's right.
And she clearly showed him she wasn't going nowhere.
Right.
To the point where he had to file divorce on her. And that's crazy to me.
But also too, it also shows you on her show, when they had the show on television, that she was speaking with her sister Erica.
I remember that scene. I remember that scene.
Yeah, and she was trying to get some confirmation from her. She was just venting, just asking her, how can I forgive him when he's bringing woman after woman after woman after woman after woman? And then now.
And she was like, you want me to quote scriptures right now?
Yeah.
And she was like, Erica was like, I mean, no, but she's still just trying to get her to stay in there.
Right. I mean, I feel like her support, her support system, they just weren't together with it. Because you know what? You can believe in God and you can read your Bible. And you have to get a good understanding from the Bible so that you can do what's right. So God gives you permission to leave that man if he's cheating on you. And she wouldn't leave him. But then also the sister had an episode, I'm talking about in her life, where her husband Warren cheated on her. But
Yes.
they don't say how many women. They just said
he said it was like they say it was like one time. You know, one time that he told her on his own because he felt bad. He felt guilty.
Right.
But you can't compare that to what Tina was going through. You
can't.
wanted her to be okay with what she was going through because you stayed with your husband when he cheated. But to your knowledge and to what we know, he only cheated once. Her husband was an habitual cheater. He was just cheating over and over and over. And I mean, by the time she had found out, it had been like, don't get me wrong, it was either 9 times or 9 years that he had been cheating. You know, it was like over a course of 9 years, 9 times, something like that.
9 different women.
Something like that. But we do know that he cheated with the godmother that had been watching the kids. And we do know it was way more than one time. I mean, way more than one time. So you can't sit up here and try to get her to stay in a situation that's totally different from your situation.
It's crazy.
And that's your sister.
That's your sister.
And you sitting here telling her to forget her worth. You know,
really?
Forget her boundaries.
Really?
Forget everything she stands for. And you stay with that man.
Work through it.
You work through it. You stand beside that man. Even though he showed you he ain't gonna stop cheating. Even though he showed you just exactly what you mean to him. Even though you probably don't even know why he's cheating on you. Right. I mean, you sit here and you saying, oh, because we had sex before marriage.
Right.
But deep down inside, she know that ain't the reason why that man is cheating. She knows.
She knows. And then also, too, I really feel like that Tina probably gave him his way most of the time. And then even, you know, when you was reading the beginning to how it got started and that he was cheating on her, he was cheating with the godmother.
Yeah.
Who was a friend of the family. And then it said that also, too, that she researched it 6 months before she told him.
So we know for a fact that they was cheating for at least 6 months. At least 6 months. We do know that they was cheating for at least 6 months because it was 6 months before the friend told her. Because she wanted to make sure she wasn't just seeing things or, you know, she wanted to make sure she had all her ducks in a row before she went and told her. So we know for a fact that he was cheating with just the godmother for at least 6 months.
This is the part I don't really get, though. I don't get how you can depend on your support system, whoever that is, you know, your family members, your friends or whatever, to tell you how to live your life when you're going through it.
When you're going through it. But I mean, that's the problem.
But that's your life. Those are your feelings. That's your pain you're feeling. I mean, I can understand you staying, you know, and trying to work through it. And then when it becomes more familiar with you, him dating women over and over and over again, when will you say, I got to let this man go because he don't love me? So I'm trying to figure out, what did it take for her to leave him this time? For him to do what?
She didn't leave, he left.
That's right.
Let's get it straight.
Yeah.
Let's get it straight.
That's what I was saying.
No, we gonna get it straight.
Right.
She didn't leave. He left.
Right.
He filed for separation.
That's what I'm saying.
Then he turned around and filed for divorce. She didn't leave.
Right.
She's sitting up on a podcast talking about how he's done everything he said he would do, and you know how she's just so in love again, and this, that, the other. Only for a month later for that man to leave. But let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. Let me say this right.
Okay.
What do you think? Okay. Why do you think that men or women, that people cheat or cheat like that? I mean, just nonstop when they've been married for 25 years now. They got married in 2000. What do you, and then over and over like that?
You know what? That's a very good question. And I'm glad you asked that. And in my opinion, because it's only in my opinion, I feel like he did it because he could. I feel like he did it because she accepted it to some extent. I mean, she made him feel like, I'm going to be here no matter what. You know, I think men cheat because Sometimes we allow them to cheat. We make up those excuses. We stay when we should actually leave. Because when you leave, that's letting that man know that this isn't acceptable to me. Mm-hmm. But when you stay, what are you telling that man? What are you asking him to do?
You asking him to love you.
You asking him to love you.
You asking him to care about you.
You asking him to. And then just because you wanting a man to change, he only changes if he wants to change. But that doesn't mean that he will change. So when you're going through something in life, and when you're trying to get your spouse or your mate to understand this isn't right, this is disrespectful, this is not you trying to love me, this isn't you showing me that you love me, and he still remains the same, what do you think?
I think that basically he's just gonna do what he want to do.
And why?
Because you've allowed it, and you ain't went nowhere.
But here's the question: why are you allowing it?
See, the thing to me, I feel like when people allow that type of stuff, they don't know their worth. They don't know their worth. They don't think it. But it happens a lot with celebrities too, because I think celebrities want to save face. They want to, make it look like they're in a happy marriage. They don't want to be all over the news, going through divorce. So they stick around and they just put up with a lot, when they don't have to. And she was probably like the breadwinner, in the whole relationship. So she was sticking around and was probably basically supporting him. I mean, he had a career. He was a drummer. But I mean, she was married. Come on now.
Right.
But the thing is, as I think about it, we really don't, I don't know if we know, was it just those times that he cheat anymore after that? I really don't know. But if not, if it was just that time frame right there, when it came out and all of that, and if he didn't cheat anymore, we don't know, because only they know their private life. But I believe it probably didn't work out, because when you stay in that thing and you hurt, she was probably just torturing him. She was probably throwing it up every chance she got.
Girl.
She was probably just mean.
Girl, that had to be a toxic relationship.
Because if you watch the show, Tina was already she kind of had hostility a lot. And
anxiety, strong-willed.
Very strong-willed, and her mouth was, she don't have a filter on her mouth,
Right.
So, as I think about it, we don't really know when it ended. We don't know if it continued after that or what. But I feel like their marriage probably also struggled a lot, because, guys, a lot of times when you stay in something, when somebody has hurt you, a lot of times you may think like, I'm good, I'm over it, but you really don't be over it. And any little thing they do that takes you back there is a trigger point for you. So I feel like she was probably around there, feeling like she was over it, but then something happened. And now it's like she's arguing with him. She's bringing it back up, I feel like that home probably became very hostile, very toxic after that. Because how can you forgive that?
That's what I was getting ready to say. That's where I was going. I'm saying, how can you just live in that?
How?
How do you be a wife? How do you be a good mother? How do you be a good anything with all of this going on? And then remember, the friend was going to tell her that, because she wanted to actually stop doing what she was doing and be a stay-at-home mom. So she wanted to wait those 6 months, while she was investigating, because she didn't want her to just, leave. Because it also says, you're gonna have to maybe you're gonna have to take care of yourself. Because he is cheating. He is not a good husband. But I guess where I'm at with it, was he feeling like it's okay to do this? Is this where I need to be? Because this was getting out in the public, and he didn't even care.
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't really in the public like that. It wasn't really all over social media. From what I remember, I I think it just all came out when the friend told her. So he was being very discreet about it.
Right. Okay.
So we can't even really say like he just didn't care.
Right.
Because if a man didn't care, it would have been all over. Like for instance, I can't remember who it was, but that couple that was cheating and they got caught at the concert together. Oh, on the screen. That's not caring. Yeah. That's just like, that's bold.
That's bold.
That's boldness.
That's bold.
He wasn't getting caught doing any of that. It just so happened that somebody caught it and told her.
Okay.
But it really wasn't like he didn't get caught by like paparazzi and stuff like that.
Right.
So he was being discreet with it. And I think you have a lot of times people will say, especially celebrities, they have this thing with, you can do it, just don't let me find out. Like, just don't let, a lot of celebrities do this thing of like, it's okay for you to cheat, but you just better not let, the world find out about it. It better not come back to me. Okay. It better not, come back to our home.
Okay.
As long as it stays private, then what I don't know, I don't know. So I feel like maybe that was it. Maybe she felt like because she never saw it, nothing ever came out other than the friend. Like she never saw them photos. She never woke up and saw it on the news or not the news, but social media. Which at that time social media wasn't as popular as it is now. So he probably would get caught a lot easier now than back in the day. But maybe that was it. Maybe she felt like because it never hit her doorstep. Right. It never.
And we don't know that.
No female ever came to her door. No, never sent her nothing. Right. She never woke up and saw it on, social media. Then maybe it just didn't hit her as hard, or maybe it was easier for her to accept because it was just kind of like a word of mouth thing. She never had to see it for herself.
But on social media, they talked to her. And she was talking about how she tore up 2 cars, remember? And she talked about how she wanted to kill some people. So she was really, really upset. But what I'm trying to understand is, why would you stay there and those feelings are there with you feeling like that?
I don't know. How can you?
How can you
lay next to him, wake up with him every day? Yeah. Live in a home with him feeling that way, because you can't tell me you felt good.
Right.
You can't tell me you was okay.
Right.
You can't tell me you felt loved. You can't tell me you felt cared about. You can't tell me you felt any of that in with all that going on. This man, it wasn't once. It wasn't twice. It was time after time after time after time. So you just can't tell me that you felt okay in that household with him. And so that's why, for me, I just don't understand how she was able to stay in that.
Why did she stay so long with all that mess going on? Because they had children. And they also said that he might have had a child.
Yeah, they did. It also talked about him. He might have had a child, got a child, but it never was finalized.
Right.
But at one time they were saying that they think he had made a baby.
Exactly.
In all of them, one of them, but we don't know.
Well, I can kind of compromise with her a little bit, because I too was married and my father was a minister, and I was feeling a type of way when I had to leave my husband. But when I called my aunt and talked to my aunt and went over it with her, I decided it was the right thing to do, because I don't feel like.
But what did your aunt tell you to do? What was your aunt's advice on it? Because we know what her people's advice was. What was your people's advice?
Well, my aunt was telling me, she said, in the Bible, you can leave your husband if he was cheating. Okay. And so at one point,
he felt like he was.
He was cheating.
Okay.
And so what did I do? I left. And I didn't look back. Now, I'm trying to figure out, because because she sings gospel, and because she was brought up in the church, this kind of gives the church a bad reputation. It kind of looks kind of a little shaky there. But when you read your Bible and you read it for yourself, you shouldn't have any doubt about that. She shouldn't have had to have somebody tell her to leave him. I think, no matter.
I'll tell you something, baby. I wouldn't have had to go to
no matter if that was in the Bible or not. I'm just saying it is, though. But you would have, girl,
I promise you, I wouldn't have had to go to nobody. I wouldn't have went to you. I wouldn't have went to no baby. I wouldn't have had to go. And I'm not sitting
what
here
you
saying,
gotta do for you.
I'm not sitting here saying I ain't been through stuff. I ain't put up with stuff. I'm not saying I ain't stayed nowhere too long. Yeah. I'm not saying none of that because I'm by far from perfect. And I definitely went through things in relationships and stuff. And I definitely look back and be like, girl, what was you thinking? Why'd you stay? Why'd you put up with that? I'm not sitting here saying like I never, because I definitely dealt with some things in my life. It ain't too many people that can say they haven't been cheated on or didn't have a bad relationship or didn't go through some stuff. I'm not sitting here saying that. But what I can tell you as a woman who does know her worth is I would not have allowed I would not have stayed with a man that cheated on me it's passed through the marriage. It's passed two hands.
Right.
But I wouldn't have. I couldn't have because I'm not built like that.
Right. Somewhere along the line, he gives me vibes of entitlement. He felt entitled to do that. He felt like it was okay to do that. He felt like she wasn't going anywhere.
And he felt like too because she wasn't finding out. Right. She wasn't finding out. So he felt like he was untouchable. He felt like he was untouchable until he wasn't.
Girl, I believe in giving people grace. But she gave him a whole lot of grace and a whole lot of mercy. You hear me?
A lot.
I just feel like she was compromising with him. Trying to bargain with him.
Okay.
Trying to make it be like, I need you here with me. Just all sorts of stuff.
She definitely made him feel like he was her work. I mean, even if you just watch the show and just watch them out and about, I mean, it was times where even after she found out, you would see them and she would just be looking at him like he was God. I mean, she would just be looking up at him, just grinning and just like he's her everything. And I'm sure she made him feel that way.
But you know what? When you have a support system that's telling you to pray about it, to work through it, and the Bible's telling you, now that support system, they just as religious as she is. They all grew up in church.
But you know why? Come on now. You know why? Because Tina wanted that show to keep going.
What?
Tina wanted that money to keep flowing in. Not Tina, but Erica. Erica wanted that show to keep going. Erica knew that if she told her leave him, that she would probably quit that show because that would have been too much on her.
Right.
Trying to do a show, trying to go through a divorce, dealing with him cheating. Okay. So she did what she had to do to try to make her feel like it was okay.
Right.
Stick in there.
Right.
It'll get better. It's okay. My husband did it. All men do it. You got this. You strong. You got this. You got this, girl. Because she wanted that show to keep going. She wanted that money. She wanted Mary to keep going.
Didn't Erica come out and announce that they were celebrating her 25th anniversary at the same time this girl, her sister Tina, was going through it? It wouldn't be enough more to make me do something like that.
Listen, that's her sister.
That's your sister.
Come on now, and y'all. Listen, if your sister would do you like that, how do you think her friends would do you?
Oh my God.
That's crazy to me. That is why we have to pay attention to what, when we talking to people. We got to be careful who we talking to, who we letting in, who we telling our business to, because this was this girl's sister, and the most she cared about her was to tell her to stay in a marriage that ended a long time ago. A long time ago, but she still wasn't even there.
I mean, come on. Sometimes
I couldn't even sleep at night if I was telling my sister that.
Sometimes pain has to teach you what love won't. It does. Sometimes it gets to a
now
point.
That's a good one. Yeah. Pain has to teach you what love won't.
What love won't.
Now that's a good one. I like that.
It has to teach you because you're not gonna let it go. And they're entertainers. So it couldn't be that he was taking care of her, making sure she had everything she needed. It was just the opposite.
When she was on the road, he was sleeping with the person that was watching the kids.
So where did he have to go?
Nowhere. Upstairs.
So was he comfortable? Did she require nothing?
Girl, you have to go nowhere but up the step.
Up the step. Gosh, Lee, I really do feel bad for Tina. I really don't know what she was thinking. I don't know what she had to go through that would make her, leave him.
She didn't leave him.
I know she didn't leave him, but I don't know what it
took for her to leave. I got you. What it took for her to leave.
Right, and then at the end of this story, he leaves her. And then he asked for spousal support. So did he ever really love you? Did he like you?
What was it ever really about love? I mean, what was it really? What was it about? I definitely think he loved her. You know, I do think he loved her.
You do?
But I do feel like you have men or people out here that nothing you do will ever be enough.
It won't be enough.
I feel like when you're cheating like that, there is nothing that a woman could give him that would ever be enough for him. It wouldn't matter what Tina did.
A mouthful.
It wouldn't matter what Tina did.
That's right.
He would have still cheated on her. And and here's the thing. He probably loved her more than he'll ever love any other woman that will enter his life. I just feel like he is going to be a cheater. Because it's just some people are just never satisfied.
So, are you saying he has a sex addiction? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I Googled if he had a sex addiction. It said it never came out that he did. But, I mean, that could be it too. Because, like, that's a lot. When she can't even say how many times, because that's just how embarrassing it is, you know it's got to be a lot.
It's got to be a lot.
It's got to be a lot. So I feel like he did love her at one time. Now, I'm not going to say he didn't fall out of love with her.
I feel like at one point,
because they've been married since 2000.
I get what you're saying.
You know, it came out in 2013.
But sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes love isn't enough to keep you where you should be. Because you're requiring more and more and more and more. And you're taking advantage of the situation. Do you really get what I'm saying? And I think that was a situation for him. I think he felt like, man, I'm going to stay here as long as I can. I'm going to do what I got to do. And then I think, well, you know, after I listened to Jashay's explanation of why she think that he did love her.
But it's also, it could be a situation, did he love her or did he love what she could do for him?
That's what I was saying. That's what I was going to.
So did he love her?
She took it out of my mouth.
Or did he love her for what she could do for him?
That's a good question too.
Did he love her? Or
that's
did he love her
where I was going with it.
You know,
he loved the things that she could do because she took care of him. She made him comfortable. He watched the kids. Well, he had a house. The lady that took care of the kids that was right there for him to have sex. So she was taking Tina's place.
Yeah. So I mean, we won't ever know because, you know, we're not in his mind. We're not in hers.
No.
So we'll never know.
We'll never know.
But what we do know is she stayed too long.
She stayed too
long and she got to a point where she just wasn't requiring anything. And he just got comfortable and their marriage just turned into a complete mess and just toxic. And it just ended up in divorce. And unfortunately, it ended up in divorce by him, the person that was the one doing the cheating in the relationship. And now he wants spousal support. And it's just a really sad story because she really should have, you know, wanted better for herself. And she shouldn't have listened to anyone around her that was telling her to do something that she knew wasn't right. Because when Warren cheated, she clearly told Erica to leave him.
Right.
She told Erica to leave him. So if you can tell her to leave him, why couldn't you leave your husband? Right. So she knew she should have left because she told her sister to leave. And that was off one time.
Yeah, she told her sister to leave.
Yes.
Yeah, we read that. She told her sister to leave.
When Warren cheated.
But he got so good at love bombing. He got good at it. And then he was saying stuff that she needed to hear. And she was so taken in by it. She was so overwhelmed by it. And that, you know, he got so good at love bombing and she got so good at accepting what he was saying. And it made her feel better. It made her feel good. But then when reality popped in, that's when she kind of went, you know, off the hook and started, you know, saying things and realizing that, you know, I shouldn't be here, but I'm here for whatever. You know, I'm not going to divorce my husband. I'm going to work through this. But I want to say this. If I could talk to Tina and I could tell her anything, you should be glad it's over with. Even if he had to do
a blessing, yes.
What is that singer sing that song? She said, I don't care.
As long as it's over.
As long as
blame it on me.
Blame it on me.
Say it's my fault. I don't care as long as it's over. And that's that's exactly where she should be with this.
Right.
She should be praising God that God has finally removed her out of that situation because he ain't no good for her. And he ain't gonna be no good for nobody.
But I believe it or not, God does release us from certain things so that we can grow and
because he know we not gonna do it.
And then he allows you to go through the pain. Because the pain that she was going through, that is what's going to help her be a better person. Mm-hmm. Because I'm sure she found herself somewhere in this moment. Mm-hmm. I'm sure she did.
I'm sure she did too. Mm-hmm. I'm sure she did too. And this just needs to be,
for all of us. But what I don't know, and what I want to say is, I wonder how Erica really feels. I wonder how Erica feels as far as telling her sister to stay there. I don't know that she actually said stay there, but she was really...
No, I Googled it. And I remember the show. She definitely was telling her to stick it out.
Okay, so she says that she was telling her.
She was definitely telling her to stick it out.
I just wonder how she really feels deep down inside. Mm-hmm. You know, I wonder if this is just a money thing, you know, because some entertainers, they get all, you know, involved with the money and they want to make more money because the more money you make, the more you can do. I don't know if it was about a money thing because I really feel like as a sister, she should have told her sister, you need to leave him because the Bible tells you can do that and you should be okay with that. Because see, he had kids too. They gotta live through this. You know, everybody that is involved with that, they gotta live through this. So, and I will say this: I think Mary has some type of respect when it comes to the paparazzi. When it comes to, because some people they treat differently. You know, some people they don't try to spill all of their stuff out there. They don't try to just, you know, make a big deal about it. And I think they have a lot of respect in the community because, you know, of their spiritual background. And I hope that this will teach everybody
I don't think they hold back on nobody.
You don't? You don't?
There's plenty of spiritual people that they put all their stuff out there. You know, every little thing they do.
Okay.
I just think he didn't get caught till he got caught.
Okay. Okay, I have to go along with that.
Well, I just think this is a moment where we need to, this shows us why it's important to know our worth, why it's important to know our worth, why it's important to stick strong to our boundaries and our beliefs and what we feel we need for ourselves and not to listen to what other people think we need for ourselves and what other people think we should do. We have to do what we want to do and what is best for us because in the end, that's the only way you're going to come out on top. You know, so I just think that this is a moment that we need to look at and make us remember that we need to know our worth. We need to stop letting people play in our face. We need to stop accepting things that are unacceptable. We need to stop letting these relationships overpower us and, you know, make us, you know, stick around for things that we know we shouldn't be sticking around just so we can say we have a man, we have a husband, we have a wife. You know, we just sticking around in it just so we can say we married, you know, just so I can say I got a husband, I got a wife, you know, because a lot of times that happens. And we have to care more about ourselves, our kids, you know, and get out of these situations when it's time to get out. You know, yes, it's going to be hard, but I guarantee you it's harder for her now than it would have been in 2013 when she first found out.
I do.
And I guarantee you it's harder for her now than it would have been in 2013 when she first found out. She would have been, it's 2026 now. She would have been done moved on, got over, probably been remarried by now. Now she done wasted all these years on a man that never changed. It wasn't never going to change. He just love bombed her over and over and over and over. And now he done filed for divorce. He's asking her for spousal support. And he's the one that cheated. So with that being said, we gonna tell you, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. We will see you next week.
And don't forget to subscribe and tell others about us. We appreciate the love that you showed us.
And with that being said, we spilled this tea.
Spill this tea.
See you next week.
See you next Friday.